Have you ever experienced a time when you felt like you were in the zone, where you were so involved in what you were doing that everything else around you melted away and time stood still? Psychologists call this experience the flow, and this is essential for doing any meaningful, deep work. Popularized by positive psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, flow state describes a feeling where, under the right conditions, you became fully immersed in whatever you are doing. There is this focus that once it becomes intense, leads to a sense of ecstasy, a sense of clarity. You know exactly what you want to do from one moment to another. You get immediate feedback. Csikszentmihalyi said in a TED Talk in 2004. He reached this conclusion by interviewing a variety of self-actualized, high-performing people, including mountain climbers, chess players, surgeons, and ballet dancers. When you are giving your fullest attention to an activity or task that you are incredibly passionate about, singularly focused on, and totally immersed in, you may find yourself creating the conditions necessary to experience a flow state of mind. The mind's usual chatter begins to fade away, placing us in a non-distracted zone. The feelings that would consume you under normal circumstances like inhibition, hunger, fatigue, or aches and pains melt away, and all that matters is your dedication to your craft. Flow state is generally less common during the period of relaxation and make itself present during challenging and engaging activities. According to Csikszentmihalyi, the best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times. The best moments usually occur if a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. To that end, engagement and concentration are key in achieving flow state. According to him, the human mind can process up to 120 bits of information per second. When we are challenging ourselves with a task, our mind reaches capacity. If the activity at hand happens to be something we enjoy and we are good at, we achieve a flow mental state, and it can leave us feeling motivated and fulfilled. How does it feel to be in the flow? Dr. Csikszentmihalyi and his team interviewed a lot of people from every walk of life, and they found out the key components of the flow state. You are completely involved in what you are doing. You are completely focused and concentrated. There is a sense of ecstasy, of being outside of everyday reality. There is a great inner clarity. You know what needs to be done, and you get immediate feedback on how well you are doing. You know that the activity is doable, that you have the necessary skills to complete the task successfully. You lose your sense of self and all your worries and concerns. You lose track of time, and you are completely focused on the present moment. There is an intrinsic motivation. Whatever produces flow becomes its own reward. Who experience flow? Interestingly, the capacity to experience flow differ from person to person. Studies suggest that those with autotelic personalities tend to experience more flow. Such people tend to do things for their own sake rather than chasing some distant external goal. This type of personality is distinguished by certain meta skills such as high interest in life, persistence, and low self centeredness. Dr. Csikszentmihalyi used this graph to illustrate the point that in order to achieve a flow state, a balance must be struck between the challenge of the task and the skill of the performer. On the horizontal axis, you measure how challenging the activity is, and on the vertical axis, you measure your level of skill at that particular task. As you can see from the diagram, there is a point, let's call it the sweet spot, where the level of challenge is high and the skills that you have to meet that challenge are also high, and it is at that point that you enter the flow state. How to achieve the flow state? In order to achieve the flow state, you need to follow these. Find a challenge. Choose something that you enjoy doing. It can be anything, whether it is playing a musical instrument, working on a project, going out for a walk, and so on. Develop your skills in order to be able to meet the challenge. Remember that if something is too easy, you will be bored and your mind is likely to wander, so you won't achieve the flow state. And if something is too hard, you will be overwhelmed and you won't be able to achieve that subconscious competence that is necessary for the flow state. Set clear goals. You want to be very clear on what you want to achieve, how you will know whether you are succeeding. Here is an example. I'm going to write an article on how to achieve the flow state. I will know that I am succeeding if I can clearly set forth what the flow state is, why it is beneficial, and how to achieve it. Focus completely on the task at hand. Eliminate all other distractions. You don't want anything to take your attention away from the task you are performing. If your concentration is broken, you're going to exit the state of flow. Make sure that you are set aside sufficient time. It is very likely that it is going to take you at least 15 minutes to start to get into the flow state, and a while longer after that until you are fully immersed. Monitor your emotional state. If you meet all the requirements I have just mentioned, but if you are having trouble entering the flow state, monitor your emotional state. If you are in an aroused state, angry, anxious, worried, and so on, try doing something that will calm you down. Achieving a state of flow can be a great way to make the activities you pursue more engaging and enjoyable. Not only do people often perform better when they are in this state of flow, but they are also often able to improve their skills in that area. To conclude, here is a quote from a poet on the flow state. It's like opening a door that is floating in the middle of nowhere, and all you have to do is go and turn the handle and open it and let yourself sink into it. You can't particularly force yourself through it. You just have to float. If there is any gravitational pull, it is from the outside world trying to keep you back from the door.